Hello, composers. You've been waiting for that, haven't you? Well, welcome to the very first live video here on this channel, and I've promised this for a while, and I'm happy to finally bring back music reviews. They are fun to do, and especially on this channel, we will only be talking about compositional things. No money making here, no making music income. I hope you do, but we're going to be talking only about compositional things here. So how do you compose for autumn? How do you compose for the fall? What is it about the fall that inspires a unique kind of song? And now all of our songs aren't fall inspired necessarily, but quite a few of them are. And then we'll also be looking at a piece that of mine, my own composition called Fall Again, which is from my Quiet Soul piano brand. And it is a song that I wrote in the fall and is on one of my recent records and stuff like that. And I tend to push it this time of year. So you'll be able to see that video. I'm going to talk about it towards the end after I do some reviews. And then you can watch the link and go to that video because I have a full music video on that. I will also be reviewing songs from you guys. And if you are watching this channel right now, you can really help me by subscribing. This is a new channel. As you know, Make Music Income is my main channel, and there's a lot going on there. But if you are not subscribed, if you could subscribe right now to this channel, that would really help. And also, I will be putting the links down to the email list. I don't have it in there right now, but I will be putting the links to the email list by the time this video is finished and we're done with the live. So if you're watching later, which I hope you are, and I'm glad you're here, then you can either subscribe and also sign up for the email list. It'll be down in the description. Okay, so my schedule with all the composing and arranging and YouTube channels and weekday teaching that I do is kind of packed, but I just wanted a channel where I could talk about composition only and talk about music making, talk about what I do as a composer and what you do as a composer, since all my other channels are focused on either music income or other things. And so that's why I have this second channel. That's why HelloComposers exists. So I am glad you are all here. Let's look at the comments before we get started into the song reviews. Arco is very busy in the chat talking about submitting next time. Good. And it's just looking like you have some crackles with my voice. Let me try and turn down, because I didn't have the audio this high last time, and you have to be very careful not to get too loud. So I'm going to turn down just a little bit just to make sure that it's a little bit better. So tell me if this is a little bit better. You know, sometimes it's related to the stream, but I found StreamYard to be very good audio-wise. Now, so far, I'm not very crazy about their stereo audio. We'll see. I'm supposedly broadcasting in stereo, but as you'll hear when we hear the tracks, they're not going to play. At least they weren't for me. Hopefully they will for you. But if they don't, I am going to provide a link to a disco playlist that I'm going to put everybody on, and you'll be able to go and hear all their songs. If you are someone watching who is going to have your song reviewed today, make sure you send me an MP3. If you've only sent me, several people have just sent me links off to another place, and I will need the actual MP3 to put this on the playlist for that. So also shout out to the Discord. I'm gonna go tell them right now that there's a video going on. I always try to get people watching the videos that are in Discord and bring them over. We have a gigantic Discord, by the way. If you are not part of our Discord, I will put that link below. And I know most of you are, but if you're not part of our Discord, you need to get in that thing. You need to talk about song reviews and music feedback and just information about all things music related and your music related. You need to be part of our Discord. So I'm going to just quickly put a little link over there and shout out to all the people who are on Discord. We're going to talk about a lot of songs today, and just going to tell everybody, hey everybody, there's a new video. Come join. So if you would like to have your songs reviewed sometime on this channel, I am working harder to get that done and to make that happen. So I just put it on the Discord, and so everybody knows we're doing this right now. And so, yeah, let's get to the first song. There's no reason to really go any farther with this. Let's go right to the first one, and this is the first person who emailed me yesterday, I believe, and it was Jacob Evan Robinson, who has a song called Winds of Autumn. And so we're going to go listen to this, and I'm going to close my windows here and let the cat in because the cat has been locked out. And so I will do that, and let me present to you Winds of Autumn. Let's see, he is on here. And let's just go to Jacob and listen to his song, The Winds of Autumn. we're probably going to have a 3 minute limit or something on that. Jacob, sorry, if you are here, make sure that you make yourself known and let me know that you are here. Beautiful song. It's great that we kind of start with a song like this, since I'm going to be ending the broadcast with one of my songs, which is a similar song, a little bit more upbeat, but still in that solo piano fashion. I will be trying to adjust the volumes here. A lot of these are going out loud. The settings, tell you what I'll do. I will put on automatically adjust mic volume. Maybe that will help adjust some of the volumes on the thing. Let me know if that did that. Arco said very emotional. Agreed. I apologize if you're hearing this in mono. It seems I'm supposedly sending out in stereo, but for some reason it's not happening today with StreamYard. So I'm waiting for some information from them on how to do that. I would use Restream, but they just have too many pops and clicks, and they're really. I just talked to they want you to upload videos, and you only get one video on the free thing. So, good. I'm glad the crackle is gone. I've turned down my mic a little bit, and I've also put it on automatic volume. So hopefully you can hear me well. Glad you all are here today. And I hope you like that song by Jacob. I think that was beautiful. And it reminds me of, I could feel the winds of autumn in that. I would say just one little thing that you've got to be careful of when you are doing these kind of solo piano things is if you are going to have a lot of dynamics where it's going to get very soft and then get very loud in parts, make sure that you've got a nice limiter on there, so that you'll not have people reaching to turn your piano music down. Because then once they turn it down, then it's going to get really soft again, and they're going to have to turn it back up, and they're forever going to be turning it up and down, and so that can be an issue. And it's dynamics, and dynamics figure into every kind of song, not just ballads or things like that. They figure into orchestral. Orchestral's a problem sometimes, where you hear something start very quietly and then it gets hugely loud. And so again, it's an exercise in making sure that you are mixing that and keeping that in a place where people can hear it from a beautiful standpoint, but also not have to reach and turn it down because it just gets so loud. So be careful with that. So, thank you, everybody, for your comments, and thank you, Jacob, for that. If you'd like any other further specific comments, make sure you just email me, and we will talk on email or anything like that, or put a comment below. Glad you're here. Glad you were part of this today. Let's move on to the next song, which is by Dan Vander Valk. I believe you are part of Stevie B's Academy. Thanks for joining us here today. This song is called Misty Meadows, and this is another song that to me sounds a lot like fall. And so I'm going to play that for you now. It's called Misty Meadows, and he sent that to me via SoundCloud. So as long as SoundCloud doesn't give us any problems, we'll play that. But this is a very beautiful tune called Misty Meadows. All right, here we go. pretty. Very nice. Um, I will tell you that personally, usually I am not a huge fan of songs that build only and never have a B section. We are talking a lot about this in the class that I am teaching, where I am trying to teach section writing, chorus, verse chorus, or builds and B sections. But as we know from all the people that we watch and talk about music, as far as what music does well, that it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have an A section and a B section. Hey, Shane, glad you're here. Yeah, it is a beautiful building piece. I could see more adding, but you're trying to keep it very chill, very relaxed, and I love all the sounds. They are you may not be able to hear on this broadcast the beautiful bells and things that are happening in this song that Dan has going on here. But man, really nice, beautiful build. And yes, like Rhett says, very nice cello work. I guess the only thing to me is it seems like there could be a place in this song where there could be a B section come in for a moment to just take us down for a moment. You're just staying on the dun 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 dun. I wouldn't mind if it went to the 4 for just a second and maybe built there for a minute and then came back and hit that big thing with the cello. Very dramatic. It's another way you could go with this song. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with this version, but if you're looking for something to add to it, I personally would add, going to the 4 chord of this key and doing something like that. I think it would be really cool. And but it's a very nice piece. As Shane says, Arco says beautiful. Rhett says nice cello work. So everybody and Catalan says that's Tina on the cello. Catalan, how do you know these things? It's good to see you here, by the way. Beautiful work. I'll find out how we know all this, but I feel like in general in composition, composers are doing a little too much of staying on one chord for a very long time. It's easy, whether they're looping or not. For me as someone listening now, if I'm in the car and that's on in the background, then maybe it's not such a big deal. But if you're looking for anything to add to this, Dan, or Dane, if you go by Dane, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but I'm going to say Dan, or Mr. Vandervalk. But I would certainly think about maybe a section where just for a moment, almost like a bridge, where it just goes someplace else for a sec before that final walk up, and finish walking up and then back down. So very nice song, and thank you very much for sending it. It was beautiful to listen to, and I think fits in our fall edition today. Sounds like a fall type of song. All right, one of the first things that I got from email is from William, and William has a song called Lots of Water, and I believe that's what it's called. Let me check and just make sure that I get to his email right. Genuine Free Willie is his name on every place I see, even on this channel. I've seen him as that. He says this is sort of and let me just call this up here. He says this is sort of an ambient instrumental wash, a cloudy, watery mood, perhaps fitting for the fall. Some strings, cello, choir, synth, and effects. Background is supposed to be like seabirds and white noise for ocean. I make a number of these kind of tracks where the tempo is pretty slow. It's a slow day so far, folks. Autumn must be a quiet time. So far these are kind of quiet. So let's share this and present this song to you by William. I don't have a last name here. that he wrote, but we'll just share this and let you guys listen to this song. This is Lots of Water. I would say that's Lots of Water for sure. It is a very ambient piece. I really like all the effects and things. It's electronic, except it sounds somewhat somewhat uh, real. It sounds somewhat. I know they're all synths. I know they're all not real birds, but yet they somehow sound authentic to me. And I don't think this is one of those things where I would almost call this not a song as much as a soundscape. I don't know if you guys would agree with me on that, but to me, this kind of see the dream state hypnosis, and when you hear this in stereo, it's really a lot of stuff going on in there. But yeah, the seagull sounds are very cool. And isn't this sounds like Eric's intro? I guess it does kind of. I don't know how that sounds like my intro, but still, I really like the fact that it's just this growing thing. But again, this is something when we do sound design, we implore the students to take 2 or 3 or 4 sounds and make them into what we call a soundscape, where several sounds are making up one kind of sound or feeling or something like that. And this has definitely that kind of thing. This has that kind of ambient. You definitely could hear this if a robot was walking on a beach on an autumn fall day. This is what it would sound like to me. So good job, William. That's very cool. Walking by a large body of water in the fall with seagulls and different things going on. Very cool piece. All right, well, let's move on here as we move through music reviews, fall edition. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are just joining this channel and you're just joining this broadcast, please make sure you subscribe. Trying to grow this channel up. If I can get to 500 subscribers, then I can start doing some really fun stuff with the community, which is, I think, one of the most important parts of a YouTube channel, is to be able to ask questions, be able to do polls, and be able to ask people what they want to see next on the channel. So really would love to build up to 500 subscribers as quickly as possible. You know me, I'm not a huge monetizer of things, and so I don't sell a ton of things or have an academy or anything like that. But I do enjoy talking with people about things, about composition, and that's one of the reasons why I started Make Music Income, is because I was ready to teach. And then I thought of this channel, and I knew I wanted to teach composition because I have I finished my master's in composition last year, so I have a lot of things to say about compositions that I don't have time to talk about really on a channel where we're always talking about making music income. But this channel is just dedicated to composition. So if you're interested in that, make sure, number one, you like this video because that'll help, and second of all, that you subscribe, because we'd love to have you on all of these lives, as I would love to have one every Wednesday. We'll see if I can pull that off. All right, let's move on to the next one here. I saw Shane in the chat. Shane Jensen, thank you for being here. There he is, and he actually says, Arco, maybe if you send it to HelloComposers@gmail.com. That's the email I'm on. But Shane says, I love the diegetic sounds. Yeah. All the sounds that are in that are very cool and really make up the soundscape for me. But let's move on to Imagine the Possible from Shane Jensen. Shane, thanks for sending this. We're going to listen to this. Let me just get it all called up here. Hope you're enjoying this and getting something out of it. My goal with these is for you to maybe learn something about composition and give your thoughts. I would love to hear what you think about these things. So here is the link to Shane's piece. Shane, one thing I would just recommend is another way to share it. It keeps telling me that it's a suspicious link, even though it's going to some kind of, I don't know where it's going to, SharePoint or something like that. I would use something more like Disco or SoundCloud even, or you could just send me MP3s, but it asks me weird things, and I don't think that people want to see weird things when they go listen. So just a quick thought, but I'm ready to share this now. Let's share Shane's song here, and we're going to go to Imagine the Possible. Let's see what it sounds like. Thank you, Arco. Okay, let me go back to what I was saying there. So Shane, I really like this song. I like a lot of parts of it. Thank you for telling me about the VSTs and all those kind of things. Rhett, thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. Yeah, sorry guys. I was checking the audio, so I muted my audio. But I really like that front part, that piano thing that you're doing at the beginning. I know it's supposed to be kind of an effect and not a real piano, because when your real piano comes in, it sounds like a real piano. But by the way, everybody can hear me now, right? Everybody can hear me? Thumbs up. But I really think that the piano is nice once it comes in. Yeah, the guitar did sound kind of fake, so I'm glad you've got some real guitar coming into this at some point. I love the layout of this song. That's not a problem. But the piano seems to dominate so much. Whatever piano sample you're using seems to be dominating everything. It's almost like there's a lack of cohesion in all the instruments. The piano is like by itself, and all the other stuff is by itself. It's like everything is, and I don't know if it's definitely a mix issue. But piano in blue, I don't know who that is. But I mean, it's not that it sounds bad, but it just sounds a little. Sometimes when I'm picking a piano sound, I pick one that goes along with everything, or I make everything go along with it. One thing that you might do in this song, just to glue everything together, is to think about a pad, like a really soft, warm synth pad that will echo what the piano is doing. Now, when I do this, I use a tried and true one. I have Ivory, which is a rather expensive piano program, and I rarely use the pianos in anymore because I have Keyscape. But a lot of times when I create something in Keyscape, I will go ahead and copy and paste a duplicate in the next channel and turn that on a pad, a synth pad, and Ivory has some nice synth pad, but you can find synth pads everywhere. Logic, any DAW has a nice kind of muted, dull synth pad that just sits behind the piano and just copies it and glues everything together as far as I'm concerned. Now you can play it separately if you want to. I tend to just have it play along with my piano and have a long enough sustain and release that it's not like too blurry, but it is adding a nice bed behind the piano. And yeah, layering is the key to life, my friends. If you are not layering your sounds, that is the way to get things sounding better and more realistic. But especially with piano, it's a little secret that I've been doing for a long time, especially in songs like this where you've got this nice kind of beat going and relaxing thing, and then you've got this thing going on behind the piano that's just you don't even notice it, you don't even hear it. It's not a thing that you hear, it's a thing that it's just glue, and all it does is it just glues all that kind of stuff together. Yes, Cubase. I know a lot of people who use Cubase, and you're about to gain a friend with Stevie B who is moving over to Cubase from Logic, so he's making that leap and that jump. But yeah, I would first of all put some glue in there. Secondly, might be that there needs to be some I don't know, some verb and stuff that's tying all these things together. Make sure, one thing that I do, and it's very boring, but I put the same effect, the same reverb on every instrument in the band, and I just use one reverb on my aux channel, and I use that aux channel for the entire band, so everybody is in the same room, everybody is in the same place, and everybody is kind of just playing in together, and I think it ties the band together real well. I think there's a what you guys don't realize, unless you're my age, is that 20 years ago we didn't have a plug-in that we could put on every channel. We only had one or two reverbs, and we had to patch that in and put it on an aux channel so everybody could use that reverb. That is the way that we all worked with effects. We couldn't just put one reverb, different reverbs on every channel. Yeah, I might consider, if I were you, putting that Spaces 2 on all the tracks. Not a ton, maybe each channel only needs a little bit, but something that ties these instruments together, because it's a really nice tune, and it works really well, and it builds nicely, and it goes up and down, and it does all the things that it needs to do. But I would look at coming up with something a little bit more ear candy-ish for that piano intro thing, that little fakey piano that's not the actual piano you're playing, but that ding 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 ding. Maybe it's something that guitar player can help add in when he comes in, and add something in there. And as far as the arrangement, to kind of make that front part kind of more interesting to the ear than because it feels like at first I'm listening, I'm going, oh boy, we're going to have some kind of low end sounds here on this song, and I'm not sure I want to continue. But then the sounds get better, and it just seems like they need to be tied together some. But I love the song, and if you have any other questions about it specifically, make sure you send that to me in an email, and I'll take a further listen. Guitar Barber says, does anybody else use Studio One? It seems like not many people do, but to me it seems to have everything and very easy to use. Yes, Guitar Barber, I often suggest this to many people as something they could get for free at first, and then very inexpensively especially if they don't have Logic or something if they're not a Mac person. But yeah, I like Studio One very well, and probably would consider using it. I suggest it to clients all the time. Shane said, tried a new workflow, laid down the piano track in one take. Not my usual. Well, that is my usual, actually. I will probably lay down the piano track with like a loop, and then I will go in and add some drums, and then I will add bass. And I do the rhythm section first, and I play the drums all the way down, and I play the bass all the way down. I used to do everything in like people who teach stock music will talk about doing 4-bar loops and then just looping in and adding and subtracting and stuff. I used to do that when I was first starting out, but now I am I've turned over the years into much more of a player all the way through, because I want it to sound like a band. I want it to sound like everybody's playing together, and everybody is playing uniquely in a different part that's not the same as the first time they played the chorus or the first time they played the verse. And I think that's one of the keys. Now, can your loops be looped? Of course. Can percussion be looped? Probably. But I think the second verse, the second chorus needs to be played differently than the first verse and the first chorus, just like a real band would. And I think that's one of the keys, especially if you're like doing something in this song where you're playing piano and drums and bass and guitars. Everything needs to sound like the players played the whole song, and not like they played it once for 8 bars and then just repeated it. And so I'm kind of a stickler about that personally. And so when I talk with my students, I'm always trying to get them, I'm just teaching them A and B, how to write a verse and a chorus. So that's the first step with a lot of them. But then getting them to add ear candy and different parts to the next verse and the next chorus. And, that's, to me, that's one of the things that is very important for this channel to teach, and to push people out of these boxes that some people have gotten them into. Stevie B, if you watch Stevie, he plays guitar parts all the way through. He might do a loop because he does very loop-based music, but he's adding all sorts of new things in all the time, all over the place. So if you watch his videos, and certainly recommend you do, does great work showing you how to add new things in all the time. All right, so let's move on here and move on to the next song. And our next song here is by Catalan. And Catalan sent Cyberpunk Epic Trailer. So, okay, let's see how this fits into fall. I actually listened to it, and it kind of does fit into the fall a little bit, the fall scheme a little bit. Yes, Arco got your email. We'll be back to that in a minute. And Catalan says, this is kind of fall-based. No, he says Epic Trailer. But I did listen, and I think it kind of sounds kind of fall-based. So, all right, let me share this, and let's listen to Catalan's cyberpunk epic trailer. Get ready, people. We're going to cyberpunk land. I actually love cyberpunk. Okay, here it is, I believe. Excuse me for just a second. I want to listen to it back here just for a second. Okay. All right. Sorry. I just had to go back and listen to something there for a second. So here are my thoughts, Catalan. Great sounds. Love all the risers and all the builds and things like that. Although I think, in my experience, trailer music has some actual stops, like boom, and then really big stops, and you know, has its quote unquote 3 sections. You know, I think the third section, the last section, is there's not enough difference or something new going on. Again, I get back to my thing where I feel like that something new has to happen. Something new has to come in, you know, and I really feel like that that last part just gets a little long in the tooth. It sounds great. There's nothing wrong with it. If it's a soundtrack, then it's fine. If it's just sitting behind people talking and doing different things, or you know, a war going on or something like that, that was cool. But yeah, agreed with Shane. More build in the third act. It just seems like it's not building to that fever pitch like it should be for that final thing. I don't do trailer music, but I've studied a little bit, and of course I watch a lot of trailers and a lot of movies, and I hear these big drops, and then another big drop, and then the big third act, which is building up to such a fever pitch that it's gonna, you feel like the speakers are just gonna explode, and then it doesn't pay off. It just kind of, so it almost feels like a background sound, more of a soundtrack type of feel than a trailer. I think to call it a trailer might hurt you in the fact that if someone else is listening to it, they might go, well, it's kind of a trailer, but it's also more of an epic, cyberpunk epic soundtrack, is what it kind of feels like to me. Yeah, you have some great risers on this and some great builds. I love them. But the problem is there's really never those stops, those drops, basically. I think that's what I'm talking about. That really happen, and then especially at the end, that building to a fever pitch. That's the thing that we need to know before the cyberpunk computers take over the world. I love cyberpunk stuff, actually. I used to read a lot of William Gibson and all that kind of stuff, and love movies like what's the Harrison Ford movie? I love all those kind of movies about robots and AI and stuff like that. So yeah, agreed with all the comments here. More hits, more stops, more energy at the end. That's building up to that fever pitch. And I think you could do that with this. I think you could, if you're interested in changing it. Sometimes when I don't know if I would ever do these kind of things where I would show a song to somebody, because I'm not sure I'd be willing to actually do the work to redo it. Blade Runner, thank you, Catalin. But I'm not actually sure that I would want to do the work. But if you're interested in doing the work to this, I think you could build it up more. As it is, it sounds like a great soundtrack for Blade Runner. You know what I mean? It sounds perfect for being behind there, but I'm not sure it sounds perfect for being the trailer to Blade Runner, the modern trailer. Now, back in the old days, we didn't have these kind of modern trailers where everything was this formula where it built up and then went down, built up and then went down, then built up to a fever pitch and then boom, the end. I think this would have been more of a trailer you would have heard in the 70s for Blade Runner. And I think it would work great for that. But I'm not sure I would, if you want to keep it the same, there's nothing wrong with it. I just wouldn't call it a trailer. I would call it epic cyberpunk or something like that, rather than calling it a trailer. Because a trailer there's going to be purists out there who say, oh, can't be a trailer if it doesn't do this, this, and this. And if you're trying to pitch it, that could be a problem. All right, let's move on here. Thank you, Catalin. That was cool. Appreciate that. Thanks everybody who's part of today's music reviews. The fall edition, that was the cyberpunk fall. You can just imagine fall in the future, in a dark city, and I think it's getting colder, and that's what Catalin's song was all about. I'm gonna tie all these into the fall. Okay, the next one is a little bit different. It's from a guy, the person who emailed me is named Afro Mike, and Afro Mike says this is, let's just go to his email here and talk about what he talks about here. And here he is. His name is Michael. He goes by Afro Mike, and he would be honored to have a track reviewed. He has submitted the song to a vocalist and is waiting feedback from the vocalist to when they can start recording. So this is going to be a vocal song, and he would just like any pro tips on the instrumental and any advice before getting started. So this is also a SoundCloud, so let me get to that and stop that, and now we'll share that with you guys, and we will see what this sounds like from Afro Mike. This is Harry's idea. And here we go. So, all right, Mike, I'll tell you just this is we've covered this a little bit today, and this is something that I seem to be thinking about a lot in music. Now, I know that this song will likely be some kind of it's in this hip hop kind of genre and stuff, and I don't know if you have rap planned for this or if you have vocals planned for this, but it's very cool. Um, this is what I call A1A music. In other words, we have ABAB as a song format. And ABAB is like a verse chorus format, right? And then we have hip hop music and a lot of music, even you could say corporate and music for licensing. And a lot of times it's using the same loop over and over again, the same loop of an idea, the same 8 bars, 16 bars, whatever it is. And it's over and over again throughout the entire song. There is no changes. The only changes we have are dynamic changes. And we made it, we come down, we build it back up, we come down, we build it back up, we do things like that. And as a song, when you put vocals to this, or especially if you put a rap to it, it's probably going to make a lot more sense than it makes right now as just a background track. Because right now, all it does is just repeat. And there's nothing wrong with that. And like Arco says, I love the mix of it. Everything sounds good. The only problem is there's nothing happening at the end that's any different throughout the song than what you've already heard in the song. The bass line is the same. The all the other stuff is the same. So to me, it's going to depend heavily on the vocal to make this song into something. Now, if you're interested in, it just seems like there could be a B section. I know I sound like a broken record, but and I say this to students all the time who are making things, and they make things like this, and they'll make a beautiful, 3-minute thing that has all these grooves and all this kind of stuff going on, but it's really a lot of the same loops and stuff repeated. And to me, that is, in this form, it's just not extremely interesting. It's great. It sounds great. So there's no problem with the way it sounds. It's just compositionally, there's no real growth. You if you're adding stuff, it's so subtle that I'm not really understanding and seeing the growth of the song, of the composition. So for me personally, as a listener, not that I'm the audience for the song necessarily, but still, I want to see something else happen. Now, again, when the vocals get in, it's going to be a different story. There could be rap going on and then singing that happens, and then rap going on and singing that happens. I don't know what your plans are or the singer's plans are. So if there's a top line person who's going to come in and put a top line on this, which is the melody and vocals over the top of this, they might make those changes that make the sections change. But I still think that there's a place where you could have gone at least down to another boom, 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 boom. Again, the 4 would be a great place to go to, 4 minor maybe, and just go to some place for a second, to allow for some kind of something to happen. To me, it just would make the track more interesting. But it sounds great. It's got it's just the A. It's not even AAA. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. We teach that as strophic form. Strophic is German for verse, and we teach that as AAA basically instead of ABAB. But I don't even think this is AAA because there's only one. I guess you could say it is. It's like AAA, but yeah, Shane, the vibe is cool. And I call it like A and A1 because when you get into hip hop, you have a chorus that happens, but it's the same loops, it's the same bass, it's the same beat, all that kind of stuff. It may come down or up or whatever, but it's using that same verse idea. So that's my thoughts on that, and I hope that helps a little bit. But I think you're right on, Mike. I think you're on on the ball with this song. I can't wait to hear it with the vocals. I think that's going to really bring it to the next piece here. All right, well, we're about done here with the music reviews. We've got a few more. Got actually 3 more, and I want to go fast here because I know this is getting long. I'm going to put, will be links to each of these songs in the description, as well as far as going to them and listening to my thoughts and the sections. So if you want to skip to any back and forth to any songs, you'll be able to do that once I get this thing gets up online here after a while. But next we're going to move to Phantom Wind by Michael Hawks, and Phantom Wind is he sent me an email here. Let's see who else sent me an email, and I think I also have one from Mike. From someone else. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, let's go to Phantom Wind and take a listen. Stop. Not ready for you yet, Phantom Wind. This seems like another windy, a windy one. So hold on, everybody. Here we go with Phantom Wind. Got to cut everybody off about 3 minutes here. Man, Michael, you definitely have that whole, the guitars are just awesome in this piece. Really just love the guitar sounds in this. Man, Guitar Barber is freaking out over there. Dystopian feel, Shane says. It's interesting. Yeah, I can see this. I mean, you got to remember to pitch to things that sound like they're recorded in the 80s and 90s, because you definitely have that kind of feel. And we used to use that that used to sound derogatory, but man, with all the the briefs that are coming out now for stuff written in the 80s and 90s because of Stranger Things and all the shows based in the 80s and 90s. And that's the beautiful thing about being a composer in this day and age. There almost is nothing that sounds old and hokey, or old and like out of style. Nothing is out of style, because we live in a time where every television show is based in a different era and needs music from that era. And this kind of guitar-based, orchestral to almost type of stuff is, it might be a sound of yesteryear in some ways. I keep thinking of Asia for some reason, but I mean something else, almost like Eagles meets Asia meets James Bond or something like that. But, I think that, my phone is freaking out. Sorry. Nothing to be aware of, nothing to worry about here. It'll be back in a second. But I think that we've got to not get scam calls. That's what we've got to first not do. And second, put your phone on. Definitely put your phone, when you're using your phone as your camera, always put the phone on. Wow. Whoa, everything's going crazy here. What is going on here? All right, sorry, everybody. Let's get this camera back in shape here. Can you see me now? All right. So, Michael, really good stuff. Really love the sound of this song. It has a soundtrack thing that you don't hear that very often, and it could be very interesting to use on things. I think definitely there can be, everything's falling apart here in the studio. It sounds like my audio is coming in and out for some reason now. I don't know why. But everything is very cool with this song. I really love it. All right. I'm going to need to move on just so I can get this video under an hour and a half. Is my audio coming in and out? It sounds awfully strange to me. Anybody else hear my audio coming in and out, or does it sound okay? Because to me it sounds like it's a little funky. Let me check my audio settings here real quick. Thanks everybody for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this so far. And yeah, it seems like it's working okay on there. Hopefully it's not weird to you guys. Okay, as long as it's good for you, I don't care. All right, so moving on to our to one of our last songs today. Arco sent me a song, and also Marty sent me a song, and I need to go back and find that. I'll find that while we're listening to Arco's song. I think this is the last one. Let me check my my banners here. Yeah, we've got to the last one, and mine will be the last one. So I need to create a banner for Arco's song, which is called Fall. Very fitting, Arco, to send us a song called Fall. And then that will be the last one before mine. And I'm just going to talk about mine for a second and then send you guys to it. Here's Arco in Fall. Let's share this and see what Arco has for us. That is Fall. Wrong one. Let's try that. Yeah, I think that, oh, I think I know what's going on. This stupid thing is on, isn't it? There we go. That was the problem. I got a new interface, and I have to say I'm a little not crazy about it because it comes with this software that automatically starts up and adds all sorts of effects and things to your voice to make it better for broadcasting or whatever. And so I was hearing that in my phones. That's what I was hearing. So yeah, Arco, about this piece, I like it. I have to agree with Shane a little bit. The bird chirping gets a little bit much. I would start with that and fade it out or fade it really low, but I think it distracts. The second problem with this song is that, again, as a soundtrack piece, probably no one would notice, but as a piece to listen to, the piano just sounds a little rambly to me. This is a term I use a lot with students and just in teaching composition in general, is that rambly is not better. Just because you can continue playing chords doesn't mean you should. Or if there's not, yeah, maybe, but it just sounds like there's no structure really to this. And piano pieces, it's a little like New Age music. There's a there's a joke that I have when I'm teaching different music theory. When I start teaching music theory, one of the jokes is, "What do you get when you play New Age music backwards?" The answer is New Age music. And the reason that's funny is it sometimes sounds the same backwards and forwards. But this is a New Age type of song. It definitely fits in that category, but it doesn't seem to have the cohesion of a of chords and defined, like Shane just said. I was just going to say that, defined sections that really gives the listener something to grasp onto. Exactly what Shane said. I just feel like it just rambles around, and while it's pretty, and again, if this was a piece that was behind a person walking in the forest or something like that, and they were talking over it, I think it would be fine for that kind of thing. It'd be fine for almost underscore type of thing. But for a piece of music to listen to, I think it probably rambles a bit too much. All right. I need to find one more piece of music because somebody sent me something, and I'm going to make sure I get to it here because he has been sending. He's always, I believe he emailed me. If not, I'll have to get to him in the next one. I don't see his name popping up here in the email, so he must have emailed my other thing, and I don't have that pulled up right now. So Marty, sorry, I don't have your song pulled up in the HelloComposers site here, but I do believe I've got to everybody else who emailed me at the email link, the HelloComposers email link, and it's been a pleasure listening to your songs. Now, I want to move to one last song here, and it is called Fall Again by Quiet Soul Piano, and I'm going to try to pull up this song on YouTube and just show a little bit of it to you. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I'm going to send you the link when we're done here. But let me just type it in. And I want to get just get your thoughts on my song here. And this is a song that I bring out every fall. It's on my album Duetta on my brand Quiet Soul Piano. And it is a song that I bring out every fall. I put it out to my YouTube and my family and people like that. And so I just want to show it to you, and we'll see how it streams here and just show you a little bit of this video. And then at the end, I have a little bit of something to say to all of you composers who have been here with me. So hang on for just a few more minutes because I have some things to say to you about this channel and about you and your songs. And so hold on for just a second. But for now, let's go ahead and share this and see how this works, if this works. I'll be interested to see if this works. Is it going to work? So that is Fall Again, and I'm going to put a link to that in the video when we get done with this. But this is basically, no, I did not play this on real piano. That's just for the video. But I would like to say that I just sat down at the piano on a fall day and purposely worked on something that sounded like falling leaves. But the actual way I created this is the way I create everything. I just sat down and I started playing. And as I was playing, it happened to be the fall. And this is a lot about my compositional process. This is just the way I compose. And I started playing this progression: A flat major 7 to E flat major 7, D minor 7 to E minor 7, and then it to me it felt like falling leaves, and I believe it was fall at that time, and so it seemed like autumn had just snuck in. Suddenly summer was over and the leaves were falling off the trees. Now that doesn't happen to me as much now, but because I don't have leaves falling off the trees because I now live in Florida. I'm going to put the chords, A flat. I love A flat major 7 an awful lot. I play a certain, I guess that would be the third inversion of it, I believe. And I really love that inversion. But the main chords of this are A flat major 7 to an E flat major 7 to a D minor 7 to an E minor 7. And that's the first 4 chords. And then the second progression is A flat major 7 to E flat major 7 to D minor 7 to a C major. And the C major is not any 7 at all. It's just a straight C major. And that's the progression of this song. And that's the kind of repeating progression. And then the verse, I should say the chorus part kind of goes into another section. I love how this cadences. It cadences from the A flat major 7 to, so this song is actually in the key of C. Even though I'm starting on A flat major 7, I'm just starting on the flat 6, I guess you would call it, and it's majors, and then minors, and then minor up, and then A flat major, E flat major, D minor, and then down to a straight C. A beautiful resolve. I just love the cadence from that D minor 7 to the C major. And then the B section starts on the 7 flat and 7 flat to 4. And sorry, I talk a lot about, I'll just say B flat. I'm not sure if it's a major 7 or not, but B flat to F, and then it walks down, kind of down to E, C over E, D minor, C, and then to the sheet music, by the way, is up online. I could direct you to that if you want it. But and it kind of walks back down to that B flat, down to F, and then up to G. And then but instead of cadencing back from G to C, it goes from G up a half step to the A flat and starts again. So that is that song. I'm going to put that in the chat at the end of this video. But I want to say a few more things about it. I just love the fact that fall leaves are falling, and so that's when I'm thinking about that kind of thing. I'm thinking about the leaves falling, but a completion back to the tonic, back to the beginning. It's really taken us back to summer has been wild and fun and beautiful, but the fall takes us back to a time when B flat going to F, from B flat to F chord, from B flat chord to F chord. So yeah, I play all sorts of inversions. So I don't know what inversion it is, but you can see the complete video to this, and it'll play in real time for you at my Quiet Soul piano brand here on YouTube. I hope you'll go take a look. And remember, please subscribe to this channel I'd love to do more of these. I hope these have been enjoyable to you. And thanks so much for being part of the first live that we have on here on Hello Composers. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and being part of the conversation here. If anybody has any last things to say, let me know, and we'll talk here at the end. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, composers. That's my ending. Goodbye, composers. All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Arco says, I got some good news from my side. I got 2 Spotify playlist placements yesterday. I'm so happy about it. Now, when you say Spotify placements, do you mean you put them up on like DistroKid or something and they became curated? These are Spotify curated playlists, or did you go through a playlist service? I would love to know about that. That's much more on the Make Music Income side of things, but glad to hear good news. It's always good to get new things. Anybody have anything else to say? Otherwise, I'm going to get ready and end this broadcast. I just want to thank you, all of you who gave me songs today or have been sitting here listening. To me, this is a channel that we're going to talk about compositional choices, compositional things that we do, why we do them. There's not going to be a lot of business talk on this channel. It's going to be just about composing, and that was my whole reason I started it. And I had to kind of pause it for a good while just as I started. Arco said he submitted to curators. Okay, cool. So you just submitted straight to Music Demotion. Thanks for joining. We're getting ready to end, but I hope you've been enjoying this or rewatch and listen to some of these songs. Great songs. And again, I'm going to be making a playlist and putting all these songs underneath so you can find them down there. If you have any questions, make sure you just email me at hellocomposers@gmail.com, and make sure, please subscribe. I would love to get some more subscribers on this channel as we continue to do different things about music composition, totally focused on composition and not necessarily music theory, but certainly things about music theory. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who was part of the thing today. Thank you to Jacob Evan Robinson for Winds of Autumn. Thank you to Dan Vandervalk for Misty Meadows. Thanks to William for Lots of Water. To Shane for Imagine the Possible. To Catalan for the Cyberpunk Epic Trailer. To Afro Mike for Harry's Idea. And to Michael Hawks for the cool guitar stuff and Phantom Wind, and to our friend Arco, who is Mr. Dependable here on the things. And I hope you will enjoy Quiet Soul Piano. I'll be putting that at the end here. So I'm going to sign off. You can find that video next, and I hope you'll go watch it and enjoy it, and subscribe to my piano channel too. It's one of my composing channels. Thanks everybody for being here. Gonna say goodbye. Everybody wave. We're saying goodbye. We'll see you guys next time. It was my pleasure. Shane, thank you everybody for being here, and I hope you have a great day. We'll see you. Bye-bye.